Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today I'll be taking a look at the DC Multiverse New 52 Batwing. Not to be confused with Nightwing, because I'm sure it's going to happen eventually throughout this video, because their names are, as you may have noticed, very similar. It's literally blank wings. So if I do mess up, cut your boy some slack, alright? I'll give you crap when you mess up. Okay, maybe not all the time, but you know what I mean. That said, this of course is brought to us by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys, and in my opinion, is one of the diamonds in the rough, an oldie but a goodie, as they say, from the DC Multiverse line, because while this guy came out around the same time as good old Nightfall Batman, the infamous Nightfall Batman, potential DC Multiverse Figure of the Year, Nightfall Batman, for the calendar year 2023, for those of you watching this in the future. I mean, I know it's 2024 now, but better late than never. Gotta say that I think that Batwing here is pretty fun. Not perfect, but fun. That said, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at his accessories. Starting off with ones that are actually useful to the figure. Does come with some blast effects. Got one for his butt there. Not really his butt, but it's funnier to say it that way. Then we have one for each foot. There you go. Unfortunately, no flight stand for this guy. He just has the regular hockey puck display stand we're used to seeing with all McFarlane Toys releases. But I do have one handy for final thoughts, and you may have noticed it in the URL to this video. Because, not to toot my own horn, but I got posed him pretty well. That said, he does come with a collectible trading card. Picture of him on the front there. And this is not the Lucas Fox version of this character. So I'm very curious to learn a little bit more about good old Batwing here. So let me pull out my reader and see if we can find out more about this character.
Batwing, Batman Incorporated, TM, data file, real name, David Zavin. David Zavin was born in Tinashe, a city in the Democratic Republic of Congo. David and his brother Isaac were drafted as child soldiers and forced into combat among local warring factions. During one mission, the brothers refused orders to kill innocent people. To protect David, Isaac attacked their leader, General Keita, and was slain. David fled before he eventually returned to capture Keita, delivering him to an enemy base and renouncing his own life as a soldier. Soon after becoming a Tinashe police officer, David was approached by Batman TM to join Batman Incorporated to carry on the legacy of the Dark Knight TM in the most tumultuous region on Earth, Multiverse.
And there you go. So much like Black Manta, his name is David too. David Zenden? Either way, he is from, as the band Toto says, Africa, and was pretty much drafted a la Civil War style to be a soldier that kills innocent people. So, you know, that's no fun. And because of his heroism against that, his rebellion against that, kind of caught Batman's attention and became Batwing. So that's very interesting indeed. So taking him off the trademark hockey puck display stand we're seeing with all McFarlane Toys releases. This is how he comes packaged. You can actually take this backpack off to save time. I'm not going to do that. But a very nice armored suit. Very, very nice. I think they did a great job of the sculpting. You can see the spine on the back there. The jet thruster on the back. The wings are hinged, of course. Ratcheted hinges, by the way. You can bring them up so he can fly down this lonely, lonely road, to quote the band Slaughter. Don't worry, this is not going to be a bunch of music references from the 1980s of all things. I will say the one thing, his feet seem a little big, maybe, but either way, a very good looking figure, if I do say so myself. So as far as articulation on him goes, he can look all the way up. What you can do with a double ball peg, I swear. You can look all the way down. You can tilt side to side. I have to tell you, while it isn't Lucas Fox, son of Lucius Fox, for those of you who don't know, or couldn't just put 2 and 2 together, I mean, it's literally a letter off. You could probably do a head swap with the, I want to say it's Future State Batman, that's got the fully masked head, and have a Lucas Fox Batwing. I mean, it is just a black armored suit, relatively similar to what Lucas Fox has. So that's a thought. I don't have that figure, unfortunately, so I can't do that myself, but not opposed to seeing how that looks. That said, he does have those rotator caps in the shoulders. Pretty good range, all things considered. They can hinge up pretty decently. They can rotate. I don't know if I mentioned this, but his head can rotate, of course. He's got a bicep swivel, which I can't honestly... Yeah, that is the bicep swivel. He's got a double elbow. And no Cliffs of Dover to speak of. It's been a while since I actually mentioned that, even when it was relevant. He does have the ball hinge wrists. So you can rotate him, hinge him, and then rotate him again. As far as crunch goes, he's got pretty decent forward. Not much back, but decent forward. He does have some rotation and some tilt up there. He does have a ball jointed waist, but boy is it tight. At least on mine. And he's got one of those like butter smooth torso joints that does not feel like floppy at all, but is very easy to move. As far as the hips go, they do kick up a little bit, kind of hindered by the diaper. I will say this one on mine is a little loose, but it's not horrible. He does have the clicky hips. Go out. I will tell you, I wish they would stop doing this, because this is not ideal. It's overly complicated is what it is. I guess it's ideal, but it's overly complicated. This could be a ball going into the leg, and that's it. It's a 4-piece, like, assembly for a 2-piece job. It's kind of overkill. Does have a thigh cut a little tiny bit. Super crunchy knees. Give you a lot of bend there. Again, no real Cliffs of Dover to speak of with this guy. He does have the knee pad and stuff to kind of hide it. And then he does have the ball hinge ankle joint, which is ratcheted on this guy, which is interesting. Of course, his foot is ratcheted forward and back, and then he has almost a ratcheted ankle rocker. So he is not falling down anytime soon, despite the fact mine's got a bit of a stanky hip. It does lock into place ever so slightly. And then his toe joints are, I guess, well placed. I just think the end of his foot's maybe too long, and they're nice and tight. So tight joints aside from the one hip on mine, that's not terrible. You know, McFarlane has had their fair share of loosey-goosey, floppy, doppy figures, and I'm not here for it. But this guy, for the most part, is pretty decent. And I think possibly one of my favorite multiverse figures to come out in the calendar year 2023. If I'm being honest with you, he's super fun. Very reminiscent of something Kenner would maybe do. Although they wouldn't make another character, they'd just make another Batman. Let's be honest. And while McFarlane is guilty of that too, in this case, it's not just Batman, it's Batwing. So, with that being said, pinning the camera up a little bit. A little more. Why don't we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Batwing, not Lucas Fox, alongside a couple other newcomers to the Bat family. We have Duke Thomas the Signal and Ghostmaker, who I want to say he's an Asian or African gentleman. I do not know his real name, but he is definitely a newcomer to the Bat family. I think he was in Future State or New Frontier, but as you can see, Batwing feels right at home with these two, because not only are they new characters to the Bat family, but they have that tactical look about them, despite the fact that one's a ninja, one's wearing an armored bat suit, and the other one kind of wearing an armored bat suit, but more like an armored ninja suit. So, yeah, really like these three together. Think they look awesome together, think they look great together, and I look forward to seeing what they do with these characters in the future. I'd like to see the whole Bat family crew kind of team up for one Colossus battle, but not sure if they're ever going to do that. So getting them out of here. Out the way here. Of course, would not be one of my reviews without bringing in the infamous Brother Mandibilus. Right there. And the infamous K11 Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone. Not by much in this case. Old Nightwing. Batwing. I knew I was going to do it eventually, if I haven't already. Good old Batwing, aka not Lucas Fox, is pretty tall. I mean, he is in an armored suit after all, but doesn't compare to the strength and power and just might of good old Al Simmons here. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from some looseness in the hip joints on my particular figure, hoping that's not widespread, but let's face it, the hip joints is an issue I've had with the DC Multiverse line for some time now, because it's overly complicated. You know, just do a ball socket hip like Mattel does with the Masters of the Universe stuff and call it a day. I don't need the peg on the crotch. The socket piece that connects to the hinge joint that plugs into the leg. Like, that is 4 parts for a 2-part job. Like, come on, man. Work smarter, not harder. That said, other than that, I do really like this figure, despite the fact it's not Lucas Fox. I think with a head swap, you could probably make it into a decent Lucas Fox version of this character, because the suit, I feel, is interchangeable between the two characters. It's a black armored suit with a pair of wings on the back. I think that's all you really need to get the point across that, yeah, this is Batwing. He's here in front of your face and ready to kick all kinds of booty, because he is a pretty cool character. No matter who is utilizing the mantle, I always thought Batwing was a cool concept. Much like I think that Duke Thomas the Signal is a cool concept. I am totally okay with these newer members of the Bat family, despite the fact that they don't have much as far as lore that I'm familiar with. I am open to it, and as long as they write something good with them in it, I'm here for it. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.